One of the questions that entrepreneurs struggle with the most when growing a business is, how do I replace myself? Well, the answer is absolutely not all at once. I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future. And instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be. In coaching hundreds of entrepreneurs, one of the questions I get most often, and one of the questions that frustrates and stops entrepreneurs most often, is, how do I replace myself in my business? And here's why. We all know that when you grow a business, you do everything. In fact, that's the very definition of starting a business, is that you end up doing everything. You grow the business, you talk to every customer, you put together the plan, you execute the plan, you ship the product, you make the product happen. It's literally every single thing is you. And the challenge is, as you go through what it takes to get a business off the ground and you start thinking to yourself, how do I replace myself? It feels near impossible, because who else would care as much about the business as you would? Who else would put as much effort in as you have? Who else would do all the things that you have done? And you're right. You're not going to find that person. See, the fact is that the reason you started a business is because you're the person who's willing to do all those things. You are driven to have all of this happen. And here's what you're looking for when you replace yourself in the business. You don't want to do everything all at once. You don't want to find somebody who can do everything you do. What you want to do is, at any point in time, you want to discover and assess what is the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest things that you're doing, the things that somebody else could do, the most tactical activities that you are engaged in at any time, and offload that so that you can up-level what you're doing to more strategic things, to more strategic tasks. Last week, I spoke in Arizona. I keep talking about it for Russell Brunson for the 2 Comma Club X, and it was a great event. It was a 300-person event. And normally at my events, we get maybe 70, 80 people because we're dealing with $1 million plus companies in our mastermind groups, or $300,000 plus companies in our Billionaire Code Accelerator. And we don't get the breadth and width of businesses that we had last weekend, but we are going to start doing some events next year where we do. And what was really interesting was how many people got stuck with the question, how do I replace myself? In fact, one of the people in the room was a home builder, and I brought him up a couple times because he had the same conversation with me so many entrepreneurs have. He said, I'm a home builder, and we do about $15 or $20 million, I think was the numbers, a year in custom homes, and we do 5 or 6 homes a year, and It's the reason our homes sell is because of what I do. The reasons we do so well is because of the care and time and effort I put in to each home, and to making it right, and to making turn out right, and to making it be exactly what the homeowners will want. And that's why we sell so many. So there's no way I can replace what I do in the business. Well, I had everybody in the room go through an exercise. You might have heard me talk about doing a time study where you write down what you're doing in 15-minute increments as you go through the day. Well, I had them go through a historic time study to go back, find 3 days of work, and fill out 3 days of time studies. You can do this right now for 3 days that you actually worked, and then put tactical or strategic next to it. And here's why I do this. Because data breaks through confusion. Data will give you clarity, and data shows you possibility where previously you hadn't seen any. And when he went through 3 days of his work, there was this look of First, like dumbfounded confusion, and then like frustrated inspiration on his face. Because here's what happens every time I have entrepreneurs go through this exercise. They look at everything that they're doing in 3 days, or if they're doing a 2-week time study in 2 weeks, and they realize how much of it is tactical and how much of it someone else could be doing. And what you want to do at any point in time as a business owner is not replace yourself completely in the business. Let's be honest, that's not going to happen. If somebody could replace you completely in the business, they're running their own business. What you're trying to do is replace the things that you are doing at any given time that are tactical. Replace the things that you are doing at any given time that will up-level the time that you're spending and give you more time for your zone of genius and what you do best. And the time study, even when you do it in retrospect, even when you do 3 days, gave him this shocking realization that he had things he could offload and there was way more leverage than he thought he had. The way you replace yourself in the business is one tactical activity at a time. The way you replace yourself in the business is to inventory your time at any time, see what you're doing, and offload the things that are tactical. And the way you replace yourself in the business is not all at once. So in your business right now, you should be doing a time study every 3 months, like I encourage all of my clients to. You want to know the coaching people pay me $60,000 a year for our Grow and Scale program, or $24,000 a year in our Billionaire Code Accelerator program? The coaching that they pay for is do a time study every 3 months. We analyze the time study. We look at what is tactical, what is strategic, and we offload the tactical to a person, a project, or a process in the business and make sure that the entrepreneur is not doing it anymore. Oftentimes, we might offload some of it to a contractor, some of it to an assistant, some of it to a new role we create. And at any given time, here's the math you have to see, is that what you're doing is going to be replaced by usually not by just one other person. It's usually going to be multiple things, projects, people, processes in the business that you can hand off over time. And the way that you get used to doing this, the way that you can do this over and over again and continue to up-level and grow your business is to do a time study, take the tactical and offload it, then do it again in 3 months, then do it again in 3 months. If you do this 4 times in 1 year, you will have one of the biggest growth years you've ever had in your business and one of the biggest growth years you've ever had in your life. Because it will cause you to be introspective, to analyze what you're doing, to look at where you're really spending your time, and to ask yourself if you're using your time wisely, if you're answering the question, what is the best use of my time right now? And you're taking advantage of making sure you're doing the right thing every day, all day, so that you create the most momentum in your business. I want you to just think about that. What would your business look like if that's what you did every 3 months? What would your business look like if you just had 10% or 20% more time for strategic thinking, for strategic activities, for your zone of genius? What would your business look like if every 3 months you got 10 or 20% more time for those activities? At the end of the year, that means you're doing over 50% more strategic activities. That is game-changing in your business. If you want to replace yourself, you do it one step at a time, not all at once. And if you're ready to start growing your business faster than you ever thought possible, then join us. You should be in our Billionaire Code Accelerator program. If you are looking at building a team, putting an infrastructure around you, and you want to be part of a group and a community who is working through our content, building incredible businesses, mutually supporting each other, and creating incredible momentum, go to alexsharfin.com/apply or billionairecode.com/apply. We've made all of our URLs point to the same outcome because we want you in the Billionaire Code Accelerator. It's probably easy to remember. Billionaire Code Accelerator, billionairecode.com/apply. Fill out the simple questionnaire and a member of my team will be in touch with you so that we can share with you exactly how we're helping businesses around the world grow like crazy and entrepreneurs who are at the top of their game gain traction, build teams, and go out and build empires. We want to help you. billionairecode.com/apply.